today on the Happy House, I'm going to show you my quarantine comfort food favorites. We're going to start with this delicious beef and cheese manicotti. Then I'm going to show you my favorite chicken sandwich on the planet. And it gets even better. I'm going to show you my 2-time award-winning famous chili recipe, including the secret ingredients. And last, the most delicious way to make potato salad. All right now on the Happy House. I have fond memories as a child of my mom making manicotti for us kids, and I always loved it. So here's a simple recipe that I'd like to share with you, and because it involves stuffing, I think your kids would have fun helping you make this dish. Here we go. You're going to prepare your manicotti noodles according to the directions on the back of the package. Then place them in a greased 13x9 baking dish. Next, take 32 ounces of ricotta cheese and place it in a bowl. I like to make a little extra because I have 6 people that I'm feeding. Then you're going to add your salt and garlic, and then I also like to add onion powder. Add as much as you like to taste. I like quite a bit because that's a lot of cheese. Then add your herbs. I like basil and parsley. Then add about a cup of Parmesan and 1 cup of mozzarella. Next, I'm going to infuse some of my favorite oils into this cheese. I'm going to use garlic, lemon, and truffle oil. Now, I forgot to film this next step, but be sure to add 2 eggs to your cheese. Then I'm going to use these fire-roasted diced tomatoes to put over the top of my manicotti. After stuffing the manicotti, I've placed it in a larger greased pan because I've made about 2 boxes of pasta. This is something we like to have leftovers of. So I place the tomatoes over the top, and then I add my tomato sauce, and then I add 1 pound of seasoned cooked ground beef. Then I sprinkle on some oregano, salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. Add the rest of your shredded mozzarella and Parmesan cheese over the top. Bake at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes, and this comes out so delicious. Allow it to cool a little before you serve. And there you have it, beef and cheese manicotti. Alright, I am about to show you how to make the best chicken sandwich in the world. Let me tell you the background of this chicken sandwich. I'm combining 2 of my favorite chicken dishes. The first is Hattie B's hot chicken, which I tried for the first time when I went to Nashville a few years ago with my kids. Hattie B's hot chicken is so delicious. It's addicting. Now they have different levels of spiciness there, but I like my chicken pretty spicy. My other favorite chicken sandwich happens to be at a place in Salt Lake called Pretty Bird. They have amazing chicken sandwiches. So over the past couple years, I have reverse engineered both recipes. And today, for the first time ever, I'm going to combine them into one chicken sandwich. And it's going to be amazing. Here we go. We'll begin by setting up our chicken dipping stations. First, we'll take a bowl with 2 eggs and add 1 cup of milk. Then, add some hot sauce. Blend it all together well. In the next bowl, add 1 cup of flour and about a teaspoon of salt. I like to use real salt. And because it's not as salty as normal table salt, I add a little bit more. And now comes the key ingredients that really make this dish amazing. You're going to take about 1/4 cup of brown sugar and crumble that into your flour. Next comes the ground cinnamon. You're going to add about 1 tablespoon of this fantastic ingredient. And as soon as your deep fryer is ready to go, let's begin the dipping. Now I've already prepared these boiled chicken tenders. So take your boiled chicken tenders, dip them in the egg mixture, then add them to the flour mixture, coating all sides evenly. Then go for round 2. Dip again in the egg mixture, coating all sides, and then back into the flour mixture. This can get pretty messy, so you might want to clean your tongs in between each chicken. And the last step is to add it into the deep fryer. I like to use my Fry Daddy and it heats up pretty quick. I keep it to about 3 to 4 chicken tenders at a time in my deep fryer. Now it doesn't take very long, maybe about 5 minutes, until they start to turn golden and crisp. So simply just take them out and place them on a baking sheet until you've fried all of your chicken. Look at that sweet cinnamon crispiness. As soon as all of your chicken is finished frying, place the baking sheet into the oven on warm while you prepare the rest of the dinner. And don't let any tasty morsels go to waste. I like to take the rest of the batter that's floating in the fryer and scoop that out on the pan as well. Next, we're going to make our special slaw. We're going to start by taking half of a head of cabbage and slicing it. Next, place the cabbage in a bowl, and then we're going to add some pickled sweet and sour red cabbage. 1 cup of this glorious goodness is plenty. Next, add half a cup of matchstick carrots. Now it's time for the apple cider vinegar. We're going to pour about 2 tablespoons of this over our slaw. Then you're going to sprinkle on your sea salt. I like to use real salt, so I use a little extra. Because this slaw is my own creation, I'm creating it as I go. Next, I decided to add celery seed. Then sprinkle on some onion powder to give it some extra sweetness. Next, add about 1/4 cup of diced red onions and about 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then mix all of it together. Place it in the fridge to keep cool. Next, we're going to make our special sauce. We're going to take about 1/2 cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and mix that together well. The lighter the color, the better. Next, add a tablespoon of freshly grated lemon zest, and then sprinkle in some onion powder. Mix it together well, and then place it in the fridge to keep cool. And now it's time to make the glaze for our chicken. In a saucepan on a stove, add 1/2 cup of brown sugar and your preferred level of spiciness. I like to add about 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Next, add a little bit of garlic powder, about 1/2 to 1 teaspoon. Next, add your sweet paprika. I like to add quite a bit because it turns the glaze a nice, pretty red color. Then you're going to marry it all together with a pinch of sea salt. Now we're going to sweeten it with about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Then add your fresh ground pepper. I like to use this special blend of peppercorns. Next, add about 1/2 cup of canola oil and blend it all together. Turn on the heat to medium-high and cook this until it's a nice, thick glaze. Let it simmer until it's smooth. Take your chicken out of the oven and with a baster, begin to baste your sauce onto each chicken tender. The chicken will absorb it fast, so use just a little bit on each tender or you'll run out. Then take some fresh, crisp artisan pickles and slice them thick. Place them on each chicken tender with a toothpick. Now this is how you would serve it Hattie B style. But we're going to turn these into chicken sandwiches Pretty Bird style. We're going to take a toasted brioche bun, you can get these at Walmart, and spoon your special sauce on both sides, and then place your chicken on top. And last, you're going to add your slaw. This is what really makes the sandwich special. The crispy hot chicken with a little bit of a kick, and the creamy cold special sauce with the tangy crisp slaw and pickles makes this the best chicken sandwich on the planet. I'm about to show you how to make my famous award-winning chili. I call it Blue Ribbon Chili because every time I've entered it into a chili cook-off contest, it has won first place every time. It first won the Golden Spoon about 6 years ago at a church chili cook-off contest in our old ward. And last year, we won the Golden Spoon again at another church chili cook-off contest in our current ward. And it's funny because when I brought it, I didn't know it was a contest. And it still won. This is a chili recipe that I created and have perfected over the years. And the very first time I began experimenting with this recipe was about 20 years ago when Manuel and I were newlyweds in our very first ward. They had a chili cook-off contest, and I created something that I called Hawaiian chili, and it had roasted pineapple in it, smoked ham, and bacon. It was really meaty, really sweet and savory. It had sweet peppers in it and sweet onions. It was really good, but I learned that not a lot of people like pineapple in their chili. So I began to try and perfect it, and I crushed up the pineapple so it wasn't as noticeable. Anyways, each year I would do something different. Then the following year I took out the pineapple, and then I added other things. And several years later, here we are. So I'm going to share with you my coveted famous chili recipe. This is a recipe that I've never written down before, so I've never been able to give it to anyone. But every time I make it, there's never any leftovers for the next day because everyone eats it all gone. It seriously is addicting. It's sweet, it's savory, it's smoky, it's meaty, it's everything you want in a chili. Plus, it has a couple of secret ingredients that are no longer going to be secret as I share them with you today. If you make this, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know if it becomes your new favorite chili recipe. Anyways, hope you enjoy. There's quite a bit you'll have to add to your grocery list for this recipe. But as you can see, I've laid out most of my ingredients and we're ready to go. Start by cooking a pound of ground beef over the stove. I like to add Worcestershire sauce, some sea salt, garlic powder, and of course onion powder. Dump that into your slow cooker, and using the same pan that's already greased now, you're going to add 1 chopped sweet yellow onion, and you're going to cook that in the natural grease and flavors of the ground beef, and you're going to cook it until it's translucent and caramelized. And then you're going to add it to your slow cooker. At this point, your slow cooker should be turned on to high. Next, you're going to add 1 pound of maple-flavored Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage. You're going to add that to the same saucepan and add some Worcestershire sauce. Cook that till it's done, and then, of course, add that to your slow cooker. The maple flavor in that sausage actually is one of the secret ingredients for this dish. So if you can't find maple sausage, just take some normal breakfast sausage and cook it in real, all-natural maple syrup. Next, you're going to take about 2 cups worth of chopped, smoked summer sausage, and you're going to cook that in the same pan, in the same oils, until it's nice and golden. And then, of course, add that to your slow cooker. Next, you're going to take a can of fire-roasted tomatoes and heat those up in the same flavored pan. Then add a can of chili-ready tomatoes, I purchased both of these at Walmart, to your pan and cook those together and simmer until they're nice and warm. Then add a can of Manwich sauce, original Sloppy Joe flavor. If you don't have Manwich sauce, you can always use chili sauce or ketchup. Go ahead and add that to your slow cooker. At this point, you want to mix all of these ingredients together. Next, you're going to add a can of chili beans or pinto, then 1 can of red kidney beans, and then a can of white navy beans. While those are simmering, add about a ½ cup of crumbled bacon. You can make yours fresh on the stove, or in my case, I just purchased already cooked bacon. Next, add about a tablespoon of ground cinnamon to the chili. Then, about a teaspoon of ground cumin. Next, add a teaspoon of chili powder. And at this point, I like to add a little extra cinnamon. Blend those spices into the sauce, and it's almost time to add the beans. But first, we're going to add 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Of course, I always like to add a little extra. I like my chili sweet. Go ahead and add in your beans. Ooh, they smell so good. Then I like to add a little bit more onion powder and garlic powder, and then stir that in together well. And the final secret ingredient that I forgot to film, probably because it's so secret, is a tablespoon of baking cocoa powder, the kind that is unsweetened. You're going to add about a tablespoon to this. It'll darken the color and make it extra rich. Simmer for as long as you like. And then, of course, you must serve it with shredded cheddar cheese, sour cream, and chives. Stir it all together in your bowl, and you'll see how that sour cream really cools down the chili and adds some nice creaminess to it. And the cheddar cheese definitely complements the savory sauce. And there you have it, my award-winning chili. And nothing says comfort food like a nice potato salad. This actually goes really well for a nice summer dinner. Goes great with barbecue. So this is my favorite way to make potato salad. Here we go. You're going to start by boiling about 8 large russet potatoes. While those are boiling, go ahead and halve a cup of cherry tomatoes. My sweet husband decided to dice some of them, bless his heart. And also dice about 1 cup of red onions. Poke your potatoes with a fork, and when they're tender, they're ready to be chopped. For this potato salad, there's no need to skin these potatoes. They add to the flavor of the salad. Once those chopped potatoes have cooled down, you're going to add about 1 cup of zesty Italian salad dressing. Then go ahead and add your diced onions and halved cherry tomatoes. Add about 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and about half a cup of crumbled bacon bits. Remember, use the real bacon, not the imitation stuff. Toss those ingredients all together, and we're going to add the final seasonings. We're going to add some fresh cracked pepper and some sea salt. I've also added a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And don't forget your diced chives. You know how I love my chives. Go ahead and toss all that together. You can go ahead and place this in the fridge for a couple hours to chill. And there you have it, zesty potato salad. Delicious.